It's always exciting to me to hear about a new business coming to town and to meet new people. And Phil is the head of a new office that's a permanent office in Oak Ridge as a part of Burns and McDonnell. Burns and McDonnell is one of the top 10 design and engineering firms in the US. And he is in charge of this, I'm going to say new division. I'm sure that's not the right term, but to work on federal projects and located in Oak Ridge on Commerce Park. Their first job is to build a new track for the SNS. And I'm thinking, well, they're coming here and they're going to do that and it'll be there really soon. But he did tell me that it's probably going to be 2026 before this big, huge project is going to be in place. So he's going to talk to us about that. And I just asked Phil if he knew about the Storytelling Festival, and he didn't. So I told him about that, and he said, where is it? And I said, it's at the Grove Theater, and he didn't know where that is. So we're going to take him in hand and get him to all these places. Phil, come and tell us what's up for Oak Ridge.
Well, good morning. Yeah, thank you for allowing me to come and speak to y'all. I feel honored. Pat, thank you. I'll talk about myself a little bit just so you get to know me. So about a year ago, next month, I will be here officially a year coming from Colorado. So I uprooted everything, came here to open an office for Burns and McDonnell. Education-wise, I got a bachelor's degree from Colorado State. There we go. So bachelor's degree from Colorado State University in civil engineering, and a master's degree from the University of Missouri, and an MBA from the University of Colorado. The best part of my life is my wife. So her and I moved out here. And we have 4 kids, 3 cats. We might be adopting a 4th, actually, and live in Rivers Run. So she's my better half. My hobbies are, I do like the outdoors, love it, come from Colorado, of course. But golf, fishing, and I'm an elk and deer archery hunter, but don't hold that against me. It's controversial nowadays, but anyways, I do love to fish. Coming here is a great state for fishing. And I was trying to pick up on all the places to go and how to fish. And I ran into this guy, and he's a one-armed fisherman. So I said, I need to talk to this guy. So I went up and talked to him. I said, how you doing? He's doing great. He says, so how's the fishing? He says, fantastic. I said, okay. So did you catch anything? He says, yeah, I did. I caught something. I said, well, what was it? How big was it? He says, it was this big. Okay. So I've been in my profession for 35 years. I'm a professional engineer, professional structural engineer. So I took my 16-hour seismic exam, passed it. The office leader for Burns and Mac, and I'll talk to you about that. So fun facts, I'm an author. I wrote, covered up a little bit there, but the executive order is my book. I did propose to my wife on the summit of Mount Sherman. So the funny thing is that was her first 14er. And when we got to the top, I proposed to her, and she goes, so what were you going to do if I didn't make it? Because climbing 14ers is no easy task. Not any one of them is easy. So I told her, I said, well, if you didn't make it, I wasn't going to propose. But she made it. Yeah, so I did run an Ironman, and I've had several really interesting bear encounters. So I need to talk to y'all after this. Next. So about Burns and Mac, I'll go through this quick. This is us. We were established in 1898. We have about 10,000 employees. We have 70 offices across the US and worldwide. We do about $5 billion in engineering and construction. And we're 100% employee owned. This is what we think is our secret sauce, employee ownership. So I'm an employee owner. Everybody that, from the person that pushes a broom to, the ones that run the office like me, we're all employee owners. So we all have a vested interest in the performance of our company. And so we make sure our clients are successful, because if they are, then we are. That's our secret. So that's us. And we do just about everything. So if you go to the next slide, these are all of our offices. And the next slide, please. I don't want to, yeah. So we're everything from horizontal infrastructure, roads, bridges, airports, oil and gas, energy, you name it, we do it. We also have some interesting business lines like 1898. So we're into the project development, planning, finance, that kind of thing for projects as well. Go ahead, next slide, please. So this is why we're here. So we won the second target station project at Spallation Neutron Source. So this is a $2 billion project. All the new infrastructure is highlighted there in yellow. As Pat indicated, we'll finish design by about 2026, with construction complete around 2032. So it's a 10-year project. That the building, it's hard to get scale, but that is a 350,000 square foot building. And if you can imagine an aircraft carrier, that building is bigger. That's how big it is. Full of high density concrete. The science at ORNL is amazing. So not to bore you too much with that, but what they're doing is they're on the cutting edge of material science. So if you know the periodic table of elements, they're discovering new elements at the end of that table. The other interesting thing about it is they have what's called Neutrino Alley. So neutrinos are really a rare thing to capture. And this is the perfect project for that, because of all the shielding that goes on after the spallation process. So it's down in the basement, and they can capture neutrinos in a smaller area than most collectors that take football fields. And it's clean, it's a clean signal that they get. So from a science standpoint, this is like the most ideal place to research and discover neutrinos. And neutrino science is interesting to most scientists, because they're trying to discover dark energy. So if you look at some of the solar systems in outer space, there's these spiral galaxies. Well, when they spiral, they spin. They're violating Kepler's laws of physics. And so they think there's this hidden mass in the universe that's holding these spiral galaxies in the configuration that they're in, because they should spin out of control. Basically, they shouldn't be in that configuration, stay in that configuration. So they're trying to discover dark matter. I'm not sure what they do once they discover it, but that's what they're gonna do. So our office is here. We're gonna manage the engineering, construction, administration. Someone else is gonna build it, but we are a design builder. We like to build what we design. In this case, we're just gonna do the design. Next slide, please. So we're here in the community. We want to give back. So we're very active in STEM. The United Way is our #1 contributor from our employee owners. This is what we're working on right now is the Spallation Neutron Source Park. And this is a development here in downtown. It's part of the revitalization effort. Talking to Wayne Blasius, do you know him? Yeah, Wayne's a good guy. So working with him and his developers, I shouldn't say his developers. He'd kill me if I told him it was his developers. But working with the developers for the site to develop a park in between these new buildings. So this is just the starting point of a rendering. So there, in the lower left, there's a lot of sketching going on right now. And these are just the starts of the park. And the point is to try to make a new amphitheater, outdoor amphitheater park that can be upgraded over the years, that has a science theme to it. So we want to have wayfinding along this park that has a scientific theme. So you would go up to you bring your kids and you bring up to your podium to these wayfinding spots, and you use your phone and scan the QR code, and it would tell you about the science. So Burns and McDonald's going to sponsor that part of the park as well as the initial architectural rendering and designs. The other part of that is we're going to try to make it an interactive park by having some kind of visual display with lights. So as you come up, you push a button and you start accelerating the protons, which they do at the spallation neutron source, and they'll explain it. And then you hit a target and there'll be the spallation process, and you have this light display. So that's going to be part of this park. Like I said, it's in its infancy. We're doing this all pro bono. And eventually, once we get our renderings complete, the idea rock solid, we're going to want to promote it to you all to see if we can get this going. What we're trying to do is, for the city of Oak Ridge, is not be the nuclear bomb city, right? We want to be the hub for science and technology. I think that has a better ring to it. I don't know. For me, that it seems to. So that's the idea, and to have a STEM theme to it, I think is awesome. We'll bring kids from all the high schools, elementary schools out there, and learn about the science. I think that's it. That's all I had. And I'm happy to share my bear story sometime with you.
If anybody has a question, if you repeat it, because we have some people on Zoom.
You bet. Questions? Yes, please.
So clearly you're coming to be a project management office, and you have facilities through 2023, 5, whatever it is. Is there any thought of what you might do after the project is completed? Is there a sense that there might be a future to have a marketing office or a development office or something?
I didn't convey that very well, did I? We are not just a project office. So we're here to stay. We want to be here from now and until time ends. So our plan is to build out our 20-person office and then go from there. We want to be a regional office and support energy, water, oil and gas, nuclear power. This area is going to be the hub for advanced nuclear power. We have X-Energy coming in town. We have Kairos Power in town. Centrus is building their advanced nuclear fuel facility here, in addition to having ORNL and all of their material science and supercomputing. We want to be right here. We think we're a perfect fit for the infrastructure needs. So most of our branch offices, which I'll call it, start out as a few people. And a good story of that is our Atlanta office was just a few people 25 years ago. Now it's 500. Chicago office was a few people, and now it's 450. So we want to grow this office, and then we want to be able to recruit from the local university.
Well,
Goodness,
no idea what that was.
I haven't.
Okay.
I think it's out. It tripped.
Did a handout?
Can you hear me here? No, the whole thing went out. It was a EMP. Whoa,
You're on again?
I'm not sure I want to use that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It probably needs new batteries.
Okay. All right.
Something said.
I guess another question. The new target station? Oh, good question. So the question was about how does the second target station compare to the first target station? So the second target station is essentially the same concept and design, but they are using more energy. So the brightness of the proton beam and the spallation process is going to be 10 times brighter than the existing station. Whoa. Yeah. All right, I will. So it, it's going to be basically the same concept, but the beam lines, so as they accelerate protons in the loop, they accelerate those protons to hit a target, and that's when the spallation process occurs. And then the neutrons will go down different beam lines. And so each of those beam lines, they're doing science, and there's a total of 22 different beam lines that they have proposed. They're going to build 6 first, and then from there, they'll just add them on. Without getting in too much in the weeds, that's really what it's about. They're all trying to, each one of those beam lines is an individual science they're doing. And actually, they haven't even told me what exactly they're doing in each of those beam lines. I think it's that proprietary. Yes, sir.
Do you have designers in your office in Oak Ridge?
Yeah, so good question. So I don't know if you could hear that, but do we have designers in our Oak Ridge office? We do. Right now, our office consists of 5 people. We have myself, we have a project controls person, a construction project manager, and a project assistant, and a lead electrical engineer. So we plan to have an architect, a structural, a mechanical HVAC, all the disciplines. And then we plan from there, once we have all the lead engineers, we want to maintain our culture as a company. And then we'll be recruiting from the local community from UT. So I'm already talking to the Tickle College of Engineering about recruiting their students and other people from our area to fill the office. Yes, sir.
What is the park that you described? When would you project that to?
So the park, Neutron Source Park, there really isn't a schedule yet. We have to finish the renderings and then make sure the developers buy into how it incorporates the buildings that are being developed adjacent to it. And then does the city and everyone in the community approve of it. And so we'll have the renderings, then we'll probably have public meetings to discuss it and see how we can improve it and make it what we want. Now, this is just our idea, Wayne and myself and the developers coming up with thinking this might be a good concept, that we're throwing some money in it. But we're open to ideas. You know, it's still in its infancy, so as it develops, we'll make it what you want it to be.
And the developers are now working on their own renderings and detailed construction plans. And they haven't actually signed on the dotted line. So, but you have been working with Capello and Josh Wright. That's good.
That's correct.
So it'll be in those 2 white buildings around the sort of long oval park that you saw are the proposed new mixed use buildings that will go up. So it's all working in tandem, which is a really good thing.
Yeah. I thought a couple more questions.
What would be the average size of your budget over the next 5 years? Get an idea of how the size of this project looks.
The size of the projects that we can execute out of
What's the amount of money you're going to be spending per year average over the next 4 or 5 years?
Oh, on the park?
Yeah, on the project.
No, on your business.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I have those financial statistics. The idea is to whatever work we're doing in Oak Ridge, we want the work to be done in Oak Ridge so that the taxpayer money stays here, the revenue generated from the incomes that people that we have in our office save here. So that's the idea. I'm guessing that the Spallation Neutron Source Park would be $5 million a year design, $5 to $10 million a year to execute. Right now, we have to use our outlying offices to support it, but actively recruiting for all of the disciplines so that we can support most of it right here on the bridge. Does that answer your question?
It occurs to me to ask if someone who came here almost a year ago, entirely new to the area, is there some way we can help? Is there some way we can put you into the community more? What do you wish you knew or had known that you don't know that we could help with?
So I don't know if you heard that, but what is it that I would like to know about Oak Ridge community, how I can get more involved or get to know the community better? Well, I have to say that coming to Oak Ridge is like a breath of fresh air. I love the small town feel. Coming from Colorado, I came from a small town. I did live in Denver, but I lived as far away from it as I possibly could. So I do love the small town feel of Oak Ridge. Everybody here has been so warm and friendly. My wife and I just love it here. I tell you that. The Colorado is beautiful, and but it's also dry, windy, and the plains aren't so pretty. Except it's only when you're up in the mountains. So I don't know. Because the people are so friendly here, we've learned so much. I can't believe I didn't know about Pro Theater, where that's at. But
No, I see it back there.
yeah, now I've learned about you all, and so that I'm happy that I think this kind of engagement is perfect. So I can get, I'd like to get my wife involved too.
Okay, thank you, Philip. We need to have you back in a year or two, just kind of see where things are going, and we'd love to have you back, and anything